Hey John, this is Dee here from Albuquerque, and I've got a story I know Jen and Nicole are going to love. Or should I say, I have a feeling you're going to love tormenting them a little. Okay, a lot with this story. Most little girls dream of having a doll that looks just like them. Well, after this story, you'll never look at an American Girl doll the same again. This guy has his own version of a dollhouse, but you won't believe what his dolls are made of. To quote one of my favorite authors, Nora Roberts, dolls are like small dead people. Welcome back to another episode of Talk Murder to Me.
Thank you.
Thanks for being patient with us, everyone. We were unexpectedly off last week as John had the man cold. Just kidding. He was really, really sick. And the first time that any of us has been, I think, too sick to record. Either we're like powering through or any of those things. But this was the first time that John was so sick.
She gave me COVID.
I did not give you COVID.
She got the shot, and then...
That's not how it works.
It spread through...
That's not how it works.
Intercourse.
That's not how it works.
Into my meaty veins.
Ew.
That's exactly how it happens.
That's not how it works.
That's what it says on WebMD.
Oh my God.
I don't like meaty as an adjective. Like, even if we're talking about food. Oh my gosh, guys, I fucked up.
What do you mean you fucked up?
So, a few weeks ago, and I don't think I told you this already, but a few weeks ago, I was walking into work at BJ's and I was running late and I was just flustered. And one of the girls I was working with stopped me. And she said, she's really nice. She has these guinea pigs. She's obsessed with guinea pigs. She has 3 guinea pigs.
Kind of strange, but okay.
And so she kind of like in, what's that show with Penelope Waller-Bridges? I can't remember the name. No, it's on Amazon. The British girl. She has a guinea pig cafe. Anyway, it'll come to me, and I'm sure our listeners know what we're talking about. But anyway, so I was walking in, and I was getting my temperature taken, and I thought she said to me, "Do you know anyone who could watch my guinea pigs for me during this extended time when I go to Florida?" And I was just like, no. And I like kept walking. And because I'm not like that usually, she was like taken aback. And I was like, maybe that's not what she asked me. And I was like, wait, what did you ask me? And so she goes, I was asking if you'd be willing to watch my guinea pigs while I go away to Florida. And then after that, I felt so bad that I was just like, oh, I thought you asked something else. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So
does she know you have a dog?
Yes. So I totally forgot about this guinea pig thing until last week. And she was like, hey, what time should I come on over on Friday to drop off the girls, meaning the guinea pigs?
She doesn't listen to this, does she?
No, I don't think so.
Dear God, I hope not.
So, no, I have 0 guinea pig experience, but I have 3 of them sitting in my house right now.
0 guinea pig experience.
I have 3 of them sitting in my house right now.
What do you have to do?
Do you feed them?
Yeah, I feed them and make sure they have water and
like
hay.
How big are they?
They're like a big potato.
Do they like run on the wheel and stuff?
They don't have a wheel. It's just like it's a cage. It's an open top cage.
What's their names?
Willow, Daisy, and Buttercup.
Cute.
Was that Powerpuff Girls? Buttercup is.
Yeah, Buttercup is. And then it's Bubbles and Blossom.
Oh, Bubbles and Blossom. Daisy, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But yeah, so I'm guinea pig sitting for the rest of this week.
So do you know this person well?
Not that well. I mean, I work with her at BJ's, but like, we don't hang out.
But you don't watch your 3 guinea pigs.
Are they cool? Do they like watch TV and stuff?
No, they just like, I don't know. They're just kind of there. I have to clean out their cage though tomorrow.
Do you like let them run around the house?
No.
Oh God, no. That's the recipe for disaster right there.
You just keep them locked up in a cage, prison?
No. Okay, so the cage is like literally like bigger than this table.
A caged animal?
That's literally what they are and what they've signed up to be.
It's bigger than this table, and it like, and she brought a pop-up playpen, but I'm just afraid that like if I put them in this pop-up playpen,
Why
that
didn't
Murphy
you
will
bring them here? I want to see one.
No, that would be
worse.
a fucking recipe for
that
disaster.
would be even worse.
There
So,
would be blood.
How long do these things live?
I don't know, longer than a week, hopefully.
We're gonna have to replace it.
Oh my
shit.
god, that's too funny.
So yeah. So that's what I'll be doing this week.
So when do you get to give them back? Friday?
Sunday.
Oof.
Monday.
Okay. Anyway, let's get on with the show. First, welcoming our newest Supremo shout-outs, and then we have a dedicated surprise shot. We've got Amy, Danielle, and Wade as our newest Supremos.
Ooh.
Thank you very much, y'all. And this is a surprise shot dedication for a Danny, not the same one as Danielle. We've got a couple of these.
Danny, male or female?
Danny, female.
So
I believe.
D-A-N-I?
D-A-N-I. And I obviously, since it's a surprise, I'm not going to tell you what it is.
That's the best way to spell Danny. You got a really cool name, Danny.
Well, short for Danielle, I'm assuming.
Or Daniela.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
That's how my sister's name is abbreviated. Danny.
I have a cousin named Danny.
You do. Male.
Yeah, he's male.
So this is a two-parter. We will drink the shot, and then you drink this.
Is this a pickleback?
Is this like specifically?
It is
oh my
specifically requesed.
Just
I will
because
say nothing else.
just because you can pick the shots does not mean you have to pick the worst damn shot.
People are requesting
gonna
what
be
they
like
want
hot
to
sauce.
request.
Chili hot sauce.
Don't give them ideas.
What the fuck? Toilet water.
It's got to be booze. I guess technically it doesn't, but we have not specified. Great. Now you gave them ideas.
Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
Cheers, Danny.
A pickleback. Yes, that was great. I loved it.
Great. I
I
love
didn't know
picklebacks.
that was a thing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I've never done that before.
You put too much pickle juice in it.
Sorry, I've never done
But
that
yeah,
before.
that's what a pickleback is.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Is
I'd
this a
do another
normal
one of
thing
these.
you can order at the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've just got pickle juice hanging around?
Yeah, that's what you do. I mean, did it not take the taste? Did it not? Is it not like the best chaser ever?
It was
I
really
wouldn't
good.
go with the best chaser ever.
Oh yeah,
But I would go with the fact that it's unique.
You put way too much in there, but
I would
I
honestly
didn't know.
drink pickle juice. I like pickle juice.
I love bread and butter pickle juice.
So, welcome to Talk Murder to Me podcast. My name is John. I put all my sources, photos, and videos on talkmurder.com. This is not one that you want to miss, people. You have to see the photos on this. This is episode 239. We are also recording this on YouTube. We're doing 2 episodes this week. As Nicole said, I was sick last week with COVID-19. I think I had the Delta. My mom was like, I think you got the Delta strain. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck's a Delta strain?
It's the 4th strain.
So I don't know. I was like, holy shit, Nicole almost killed me.
Oh my God, that's not how it works.
And she's like faking a cough. I'm sick too. And I'm like dying.
How were your side effects?
I was really sick the day I got the shot. I had a fever and aches. I was over 100.
Also, I want to shout out Brienne. All of her episodes are good, but the late ones that she's been putting out are super interesting and honestly very empowering for women, because the ones she's been putting out were about the female survivors, and the one that
Nice.
she's putting out this week, I don't want to give it away, but it is very inspiring how it turns out. So definitely check that podcast out, Among the Dirt and Trees. I produced that for her. It's a fantastic show. Fantastic. Tonight's episode and the one for Thursday or Wednesday, whenever I put it out, is both requests from our Supremos. Tonight
Nice.
is a request from D,
Ooh.
our really good friend, Talco Supremo. She's been a supporter for a very long time. She's in New Albuquerque, right? New Albuquerque.
Yes, she's in New Mexico.
New Mexico,
and
yeah.
has sent us the best green chili sauce we could hope for.
Yeah, she is a really, really great person. Her son just enlisted in the Army, and I don't know if I guess she'll hear this eventually, but she's going through a little bit of a hard time right now with some stuff that happened with a friend of hers. So we're all sending our love and support for you to get through this tough time. And if you ever need anything, you got our numbers and our contacts. So, please use those. Anyway, this story is for you, D. So for you guys on YouTube, we're going to Google Earth it. I'm going to try to pronounce it. Nizhny Novgorod. I know.
What?
It reminds me of Pazuzu of Algorod.
I'll give you a hint. It's in the Leninsky district. That should give you to the location.
To go off
no,
of.
the Leninsky.
Oh, Russia.
Yeah. There you go, Russia. So Lenin. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, we're going to Russia.
Yeah, we're going to Russia.
I think we done a Russian story? We may have done one before.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
The grandmother.
the Volga maniac,
Yeah.
which he actually got caught. This is a press release. Obviously, I will play a little bit. You're not going to be able to understand the language because it's some weird language that's not English, or excuse me, that's not American. So we won't be able to understand. It's in Russian.
You don't know that I don't speak Russian.
But
You're a spy.
But I will put this video on talkmurder.com because this shows inside the house of tonight's, what should I call him? Suspect.
Oh.
We don't know if he's a killer yet. Suspect.
Oh, what is that?
Masks.
A doll?
Oh, they're mask
Is that the
faces.
fucking bride of Chucky?
All right.
Oh, hell no.
Look at this doll.
No face.
Oh.
You cannot compare that to my house, John, because I would not have dolls all over the place. No.
They're really focusing on these dolls.
Well, yeah, dolls are fucking creepy.
They are fucking creepy.
For you podcast listeners, the home is a wreck. This is the suspect. He's actually a local historian and a very prominent one. They're going through the home. It's a hoarding situation, but they're focusing the camera on several dolls. There was actually 29 dolls found in the home. And this is I guess this is a leaked video from the police. It's like a body cam video. But they really focus on these dolls for reasons we're about to tell you.
And these are not just like small dolls. Like they're large.
They're like mannequin size.
Yeah, look at this one. This one's really important right here for this doll.
Oh, it looks like a French, like Marie Antoinette.
It's a very small doll, very pretty looking woman as a doll face.
Like a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
But bigger than a Barbie doll.
Like an American Girl size.
Maybe.
So what do you guys think from seeing that video? Anything?
I fucking hate dolls.
I concur with that, but maybe he was hiding like body parts in those dolls.
Ooh. They're like on par with clowns for me. Dolls and clowns, like creep factor, same.
I would put dolls above clowns only because...
Above meaning creepier?
Yes.
Okay.
When I was a child, actually, coincidentally, this is at the grandparents' house of my friend whose house I was at where I saw the ghost. They had a whole bunch of really, really creepy dolls, and I swear that, like, they were possessed. Like, they were possessed dolls.
Is this the ghost that you were Patrick Swayzing with?
No, this is the ghost. This is the first
Jen's
ghost.
like doing the pot thing.
Has Jen seen the movie Ghost? Have you seen the movie?
I've seen parts. I know what he's talking about.
It's a great movie.
Ooh, yeah. All right, tonight we're going to November 2011. Who you're looking at now is a local historian. Actually, an extremely prominent historian. Everyone knows this guy. He's very aloof, but like many people that are aloof and geniuses, they accomplish great things. And he has accomplished great things as far as his one niche interest is concerned. That is
Dolls?
not dolls, cemeteries.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Cemeteries. He is a self-proclaimed necropolist.
Oh.
And it's spelled Necropolis. Nekropolis, but I like the Russian way they spell it. It's Nekropolist, Nekropolis. That is a beautiful word. Anyway, he is a self-proclaimed necropolist, which is a cemetery expert. So he's a historian. Obviously, he is interested and fascinated, which after reading this story, I am too, about the death rituals from different cultures. Since 1991, he has claimed to have walked through and inspected 752 cemeteries. As a child, he has been walking through cemeteries. There's something about it. There's no one there. It's quiet.
It's creepy.
It's peaceful. Well, creepy, yeah. But it's just so much history there, and you can see these people and their lives that they lived, and it's just serene for this guy. He is very calmed by walking through cemeteries. And this is who you're looking at now. His name is Anatoly, Anatoly. I'm sure it's got some kind of Russian twist to it. Anatoly Moskvin. Moskvin, probably sound like that. Moskvin. He is a self-proclaimed necropolist, like I said. He has walked through 752 cemeteries. Now, in November 2011, his home was raided. And the video that you guys watched earlier was of his home. So you saw the home. It was complete chaos. And there were dolls everywhere. There were 29 dolls.
Seems like a lot.
In his home, yeah. And his home, which we're going to get to, he also shared with his parents. So, I mean, this guy is, now he's, and this is 2011, he was like 48 or 46 or whatever. Now he's over 50. So he's still living with his parents. I guess in Russia, that's, you know, in America, I don't think that's really, I think that's kind of taboo. But over in Russia, maybe it's different. You're still living with your parents that late in life. The police raided his home. Now, they were actually looking at this guy for a while, surreptitiously.
Oh, I like that word.
They were watching this guy, but the final straw was when he was walking from his college. He's a professor.
Okay.
A history professor, a very prominent one. He has a big circle of influence. He is a very talented lecturer. He is a very talented orator, and he's got a ton of books, self-written books, mostly on all on cemetery stuff, history and traditions, culture, stuff like that. So he was actually caught walking from the university, and in his hand was a bag of bones. He was caught with a bag of bones. A bag of bones.
That could be a good title.
Bag of bones. Now, this has been going on for about 10 years or more. He's been walking in cemeteries since he was a kid and studying them since 1991. But recently, there has been a desecration of two separate cemeteries, the Samorsky and the Sortorovskashny. Let me just break this story for you. Those dolls that you saw were not pieced together from cemeteries. Those were actual mummies of real grave-robbed individuals, mostly or all female, the oldest being 12. So do you remember that small doll? And I'll show you. There's plenty of pictures here, and I'll show you. But do you remember that doll that literally looked like a Barbie doll in that elegant dress? That was
like
an
Marie
actual
Antoinette doll or something.
That was an actual little girl. Yes, it was an actual little girl.
Did he do anything to them?
Yes.
How did that? How?
They were wearing masks, but everything else, the hair was primmed, the dresses were made eloquently, stuff like that. Those were all, there were 29 corpses. Well, he doesn't call them corpses. He calls them bodies. He doesn't like the word corpse. But all of those dolls, the 29 were all complete human remains. No dissection, no dismemberment, complete arms, fingers, toes, everything from the grave. Every one of those dolls, 29 of them.
Well,
I got plenty of pictures. So go to talkmurder.com if you want to see these crazy ass pictures. he was charged under Article 244 under the Russian Federation, which is desecration of the bodies of the dead and their places of burial. His maximum time in jail for that specific charge, Article 244, was how much do you think? So he was caught with 29 corpses dressed up as dolls.
29 years.
I'll say 10 years.
The maximum sentence under that specific declaration under the Russian Federation is no more than 3 months. Unless it was proven that he desecrated out of a hate, like for instance, and this is prominent in Russia from what I found out, Muslim graves are often vandalized, and the majority of the corpses in his place, and I'm going to show you all the corpses. Like, you're going to see up close the bodies.
Sweet.
Yeah, but the majority, or excuse me,
Felt like the only reaction I could have. Awesome.
the majority of
I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait a second.
the majority of the dolls were Muslim corpses, and they were all female.
Interesting.
All female. 12 years old or younger.
Wow.
That's why they're so small. Those were
But some of them were larger, which was unusual to me. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was like, they look like mannequins.
Yeah.
So it's
It's like almost a combination.
is Russia a largely Christian nation? I know there are some Jews that live in there's a large Jewish population over there, but is it mostly Christian?
It is very expansive. So as the largest country in the world, it varies. Like there's Jews, there's Christians, there's Muslims. Thinking about the region that it spans, you know.
Yeah.
It's got a mixture. I think the majority is Christian Orthodox.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But it does have a whole blend of different cultures.
Yeah. All right. So this story, I know this is talk murder to me, but this story isn't technically a murder. He was arrested for the desecration of cemeteries, and he dug up these bodies Ed Gein style, and he made dolls of them. There's a lot of psychology here, which I'm not qualified to go into, but holy shit. I mean, who is going to dig up 29 bodies and then make them out of dolls? Who you're looking at right now is the head of investigations. This is Vladimir Strasnavskas.
He looks like a cartoon character.
He does. With his scar down the middle of his eye right there.
This is what he says.
The Moskvin case is a wild, exceptional case. It had no analogs in modern forensic science. We did not disclose the details of this case for ethical reasons. Here, the feelings of relatives are affected. Just imagine. At first, they lost a loved one, said goodbye to him. Then they learned that the grave was desecrated.
Yeah,
So these were recent.
Yeah, this is 2011
deaths.
when he was caught.
I mean, like the bodies were very recently buried that he extracted.
Yes, in most cases, and they made the newspaper in some way. Whether a very violent death, I know one of the dolls was handicapped, or one of the corpses was handicapped. At least one was a murder victim, and I want to preface this episode, guys. I'm putting all my sources on talkmurder.com. They're 100%, besides a few mirror articles, in Russian. So they're translated from Google. So if little details get mixed up, I'm sorry, but I don't speak Russian. But all of this stuff is coming from Russian news. And a lot of it's pretty recent, too. I mean, this is 2011 when he was arrested. So
10 years ago.
I'm about to show you a lot of the dolls. Like every doll he has, you're going to see up close. But this guy, the head of investigations, Vladimir Strasnavskas, he asked him if he was remorseful for the desecration of the graves. And this goes into a lot of the psychology, because this guy, as we'll get to, loved, as a family, these dolls. Loved them. They're not just regular dolls. They're his family. So if you want to read this.
In Moskvin's understanding, this was not a desecration of graves, but a desire to revive the dead girls. He did good for them. In general, Moskvin led a very secluded life. He is undoubtedly an intellectual person. he has a higher linguistic education, studied at the Graduate School of Moscow State University, and published a series of articles on local history. He is yet to undergo a psychiatric examination.
Obviously, since this interview with the head of investigations, he has been studied, I guess you could say, through psychiatry. This story reminds me a lot of the Carl Tanzler story, which is one of my favorite stories.
That's one of mine, too.
He was in love with I think she was a Spanish woman. Mm-hmm. And when she tragically died, he dug her up and lived with her for years. What was it, like 20 years? He talked to her. He loved her. He actually built an airplane for her. That was one of the stories that, I don't know, man. I mean, I know there's a victim aspect here. Like, no one wants to see their daughter or their loved ones dug up. But at the same time, you know, it's like kind of sweet.
What would you, if I died?
I'd stuff you. I'd stuff you.
You'd go to a taxidermy?
Yeah. I mean, I do it in the house, obviously.
I know exactly what pose I'd be in. I'd be in the kitchen, like flipping something on the stove.
You'd be playing in video games like you've been doing.
So he'd be sitting there next to you and be like, baby, it's your move.
All right, let me be honest. I don't have any friends besides you and Jen. So if something happens to you, I'm going to be alone with 3 dogs for the rest of my life. I ain't got no one else. So I would definitely dig you up and stuff you. No, I wouldn't let you come over because you'd probably tell me that I stuffed Nicole with fucking cotton.
I really hope I live a long and healthy life, and I better die first, or you better die first.
We could cook meals like with Nicole and be like, here, crack the egg.
How do you think
Nicole,
this meal went?
Do you need any help in the kitchen? No, it's okay. I don't need anything.
I mean, we're married, so technically I don't see anything wrong with it.
It's an interesting perspective.
I've always thought about that. I mean, because like,
what do you mean you've always thought about that?
It's better than being alone.
What you're gonna do when I die?
Yeah.
I really hope that this is not an issue that we need to.
Oh, you know, I'll die if you die. It ain't gonna be like that.
God. I'll have to plan 2 funerals. What am I going to do?
Style.
Jen, can you take over the podcast?
and can you add 3 more dogs to your plate?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is his parents right here. Keep in mind, they were living in the same home with their son. They look up to their son. Obviously, I'm going to go into his background, but he is what is considered a genius. You know,
interesting.
I mean, like, take me, for example.
Oh, wow.
All right. So this is his parents right here. And they were very upset about finding out that these dolls were actually corpses.
I mean,
I understand that.
Yeah.
A little bit about Anatoly. He studied Celtic culture. He was also a professor of Celtic culture. He is the author of many academic works. We're talking in the hundreds.
Wow.
Well, it's time to write all of that stuff.
When you don't have any friends and you're a genius, I guess you can write that much. Plus, he's so fascinated by not just death, but the transportation of someone's dead soul to wherever, and it ranges from different cultures, obviously.
I'm hearing some similarities.
Have you guys seen the videos of like when someone had just died in a car accident and then you see the soul going up? Have you seen those videos? Yeah, they're out there.
No.
They're out there.
You don't think that they are doctored in any way, shape, or form?
I don't know, but they're out there.
We know when Jen dies and she's floating up to heaven, Nicole and I are going to be like, fuck no, you ain't. Pulling them legs down. Fuck no, you wait for us down here.
I really hope that by the time we all die, there is like the upload scenario from that show in Amazon.
I really think...
I love that show.
Because I think it's going to die first.
What the fuck?
You mean amongst the 3 of us?
Yeah.
Probably you, because you drive a lot. You know,
I always thought I was going to die in a car accident.
I know, that's really bad that you think that. In fact, extroverts, did you know this? Extroverts will die more than introverts because extroverts die more in car accidents, I should say, than introverts because they are always going out, so they're driving more.
See,
statistically, they die more.
Interesting.
Since I bought my house, I really don't go anywhere. I just kind of
that's good.
Nap.
Maybe that's not good. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a surprise and I'll die before both of you.
I don't think so. I think you'll be the last one to live.
That's why I got to chain you up in the house. Every time you drive to anywhere, I'm like, fuck, hopefully she's driving safe. I always text you and say, drive safe. Drive rain and all that stuff.
My dad always tells me to be careful. When it's raining, the roads are slicker down here, he says, because of the oils coming up from the heat in the
Didn't
road.
think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So he studied Celtic culture. He was an author of many academic works and books. He began wandering cemeteries as a schoolboy. He was very withdrawn as a schoolboy, but as you see here, he had very loving parents, and so much so that he remained with them even until his arrest in 2011. He is fluent in 13 languages.
Wow.
And I'm not talking about... No, I don't mean he took some intermediary fucking
he can
bullshit.
Actually speak them.
He can
it's not
speak
just
these languages. English, Spanish.
I think that is awesome.
English is the hardest language to learn,
That's ridiculous.
I believe it. With our contractions and... weird slangs.
How in the
where our
Anatoly is fluent in 13 languages. As I said, he's a very respected lecturer and orator. His parents did live in the same apartment. However, they were gone for about half the year each year. They would travel and they would leave poor 50-year-old Anatoly at home with his books, which guess how many books were in his library, and you're going to be so jealous.
5,000.
60,000.
What?
So in his library of books,
I'm so fucking jealous.
and they would even take the family cat with them when they go. They go once a year for about 6 months.
Sounds like when my family goes on vacation and leaves me behind.
And they take the cat. So after that, you can see he gets a little lonely. You know what I'm saying? Here's one of the dolls for you.
Oh, that's creepy. It's creepy even if it wasn't a human body in there.
Looks like Billie Eilish.
I think this doll wasn't finished yet. And this picture's from the Russian Interior Ministry, which sounds super 1984 to me.
That's Russia for you.
Remember when we watched A Clockwork Orange and it was the creepiest movie?
Oh, that I still think about that
I don't
movie.
know what the fuck that movie is about. I cannot figure it out.
They were raping people with their nose.
It's weird. It was a weird movie.
That was weird.
Anatoly does not drink or smoke. He never has before. He is a social outcast, very isolated, and he's still a virgin, even to this day. And he's in his 50s now. I think he's 56, which is, neither here or there. He is considered a genius by his colleagues. He has published many essays about burials and cemeteries. However, his newest book, which was supposed to be released, I believe, in 2012, called, quote, Long Walks Through Cemeteries, end quote, was halted by the publisher for obvious reasons.
I'm sorry, I just thought of hi, my name is Anatoly. I'm 56 years old. I enjoy long walks through cemeteries and arts and crafts, creating dolls.
Check out this one, Jen.
It's like Winnie the Pooh, but
don't you say Winnie the Pooh's name. Winnie the Pooh is my favorite.
So this is one of the dolls.
I can't believe that's a body.
When
in
I
there.
say dolls, I mean complete.
You were kind of right with your guess.
Yeah, but you said pieces.
Parts are in
I
it.
said it was stuffed with body parts.
It's a 100% not dismembered. Well, actually, I should take that back. One doll was dismembered, the head, but it turns out that the head just fell off because it rotted. But all the
Like, what do you do with it at that point? Like,
You put a mask on it. You put this. I think it's this one actually.
You put a teddy bear's head on it.
I mean, I can't even imagine how that room must have smelled.
No, not bad at all. Not bad at all. What the fuck?
Just buy a shit ton of Febreze.
No, not bad at all. Because not bad at all. It's a really good question, Jen. The reason being is because for years he has studied a specific type of burial, mummification, and he has studied extensively in the Egyptian practice of mummification, and he has written, I mean, these are peer-reviewed dissertations on the subject of mummification in Egypt. So this guy knows how to make a body not smell and to last forever is what I'm trying to say. This body right here, and these are all 12-year-olds, 11, 10, 9, nothing sexual with this. And I'll give you his MO here. So I'm going to tell you why he's doing this here in a second. But if you look at the clothes right quick, I'm putting all these photos on talkmurder.com, but if you look at the clothing that the dolls are wearing, they're pretty luxurious. They're 100% entirely handmade by him, sewn, stitched, and created, sized correctly for each doll. Many of the dolls were donning, quote, this is from a Russian source, luxurious wedding dresses, end quote.
Wedding
The corpse
dresses.
bride has a totally different meaning.
Oh my God, look at this one. Shit.
Is that like a picture of her face with the mask?
Most of the bodies had masks on them, and most of the mask had eyes that were drilled out. And I'm going to tell you why he drilled the eyes out. But I don't know if this one is a face or not. Some of them were not masked up, but they were extremely made up. Makeup and blush or whatever, mascara, whatever, on their faces. But they were all very well taken care of. That was kind of sweet, right? Stories like this do have victims, and here's one I want to show you right here. This is Natalie Chardamova. Her daughter is one of the dolls, which I'm going to show you exactly which one she is here in a second. But her daughter was actually murdered by a drug addict. And if you want to read this is from the Mirror.
For Natalia Charmovda, 42, each new macabre report about Moskvin, arrested in 2011, is like a hammer blow because her own daughter, Olga, was among 29 he secretly dug up and dressed as a doll and kept at home. Olga had been horrifically murdered, aged 10, the first time she was allowed to walk alone from the family flat to her granny's apartment in the next block after her parents went to work. I'm 10 already. I can go by myself, she had pleaded. Her mother relented, and she went out with her favorite green bag and blue umbrella, never to be seen alive again.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah,
especially like since it's the first time.
Fucking
that
Russia,
you
man.
go.
I mean, I'm not saying Russia is not safe, but fuck, I'm glad we live up in Mount Pleasant, United
It's literally
States.
in the name.
Holy shit.
It's pleasant.
Now, this is how she ended up. This is her on the left here. Now, keep in mind, she wasn't murdered by Anatoly at all.
He's not a murderer.
No, he is not a murderer, nor a sexual pervert at all. Because, and I'll tell you why.
Interesting.
And he would only dig up, I mean, he has visited literally hundreds and hundreds. I mean, that's all he does. You know, we play video games, maybe go like shoot pool or what. I don't know, shoot pool.
I was going to say, when did you do
Have we
that?
ever done that? That sounds fun. Let's do a date night shooting pool.
Like we go to the beach. He goes to the cemetery and walks by himself.
Okay.
So he knows the thing is he knows every cemetery he goes into. He knows every story. He looks at it's not just a grave. It's not just a piece of slate or whatever tombstone. It is a story that he knows. So he is very particular on who he brings up. 10-year-old Olga was murdered by a drug addict who saw her earrings and wanted her earrings. So he murdered her, stuffed her behind the pipes of the building, of a random building.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And she was not found for 5 months. So, which is important because that means the body has went through decomposition. Then it is buried. Then it is exhumed by Anatoly. So it is already past that stage of decay. So the reason I'm telling you this is because there's a specific reason he's doing this in his mind. It's really hard to explain, but it's not to bring him up because he's got a morbid fascination. It's to resurrect their soul and kind of give them another chance. I'm going to try to get this right here. When Olga's mother and the 28 other families came forward and was really upset about this for obvious reasons, he said, quote, "You abandoned your girls in the cold, and I brought them home and warmed them," end quote. So remember.
Ooh, that cray. That'd be cray.
But the graves in Russia, very cold, very rainy. So he's looking at these like they're real life individuals. He doesn't want them to be cold and rainy. Does that make sense? He is trying to bring them up, dress them in comfortable clothing, which he makes himself, and then warm them up in his home. Did I kind of make that sound sane to you guys?
No, but I mean,
I don't know if you can ever do that.
Because I'm like, yeah, I see that. This is how...
I mean, we've already talked about you're going to taxidermy me if I die first, so...
This is how 10-year-old Olga ended up. You see her sweater is handmade.
It looks like Little Red Riding Hood.
Looks like 101 Dalmatians on the sweater.
Obviously, this corpse was way past where the usual ones were, so that's why the face is almost... I don't know. It's got texture to it. It's very creepy.
Yeah, it's very unhuman-like. It's a very cartoon character.
Let's hear from the man himself. He was asked by a Russian news source, "Tell me, why did you store the corpses in your apartment?" And if you want to read his reply.
The point is that I do black magic. I wanted to revive people. I felt sorry for the dead children who could still live and live. So I kept them until the time when science learned to fight cancer and revive them. Exclusively, solely for the sake of this, I felt sorry for all these children.
Yeah, but you don't feel like you hate this guy. I mean, he is in his mind.
No, but he's definitely fucking crazy.
I mean,
is he though? Because he is a very prominent professor and a genius.
He's eccentric. We can say the word eccentric. And that'll fit very well.
Oh yeah, well I can see.
I'm eccentric, Naquiz.
Yes, you are eccentric. Absolutely.
You just haven't found my dolls yet.
Oh my god. I mean, it's.
I haven't died yet.
It's like, I guess you don't hate him. He wants to do something positive that he sees as positive, but when you think about it, he's talking about reviving these children. He's
Looney
gonna have zombies running around the entire world.
He thinks he's gonna revive these people like freaking Walt Disney and Ted Williams.
Okay. Here's the counter argument to that. Okay. He is a very well-researched professor of the afterlife, and I believe Christians think that they're going to be revived and put in a place in heaven.
Well, they think they will come back from the dead, and that's why they're buried, not cremated. Yes.
Or heaven or hell. Christians think that. Most cultures think that. The Egyptians, especially, which he studied a lot, thought that. That's why they would mummify the pharaohs or whatever and put all the gold and stuff in there with them because they thought they would take that with them. So is this crazy or not? Or
yes, it's crazy. Yes, it is crazy.
No, I'm not saying any offense, but Christians think the same thing, that your soul will be resurrected. So is it any different?
Yes.
But
But there is a reason why.
But hey, let's compare Christianity to mummification. They also think your soul, the mummies, the Egyptians think their soul is going to be resurrected, but you have to keep the body pristine and preserved.
Which also happens in the Christian faith.
So,
you're embalmed.
So is this? Yeah, exactly.
Your body, like you're not cremated. So typically in the Christian faith.
Is this crazy, or is this?
However, he's taking it a step further and making them dolls and taking them into.
Is that not what the mummies do? Is that not what the Egyptians do?
No,
is that not what embalming does?
You wrap the body and you do that, and then you bury them and you leave them to rest.
What about embalming?
Embalming is after they die, and you take the fluids out of the body
and you dress them up all nice.
But then you put them to rest. You don't take them out after that process and try to revive them. Like, that's different.
It is different.
You're preparing them for that. You know, you want them to look nice and respect the dead,
afterlife, whatever.
And then you leave them be and you let them rest. You don't take them out of where they're resting. That's like bad juju. Like, that's why you don't mess with Indian graveyards.
That's bad juju in our culture.
But I don't know of any culture, and this could just be me being uneducated on every single culture, because I'm not educated on every single culture, but I don't know of any cultures that continuously dig up their dead and put them back and dig them up and put them back. I don't know of any of that. Yeah,
that's true.
It's like disturbing their resting place.
Yeah, no, that's true.
They were already embalmed and placed and clothed to
it's not like he found her body and took it to his house and did that. Like, he dug her up.
Yes,
that's a good point.
That's the difference.
That's a good point. That makes it more, I wouldn't say sinister, but more
disruptive.
Yeah.
Disruptive,
like,
yeah.
It's
because it's not about his beliefs or wishes, it's about the families. Yeah. That's good. That's a good conversation.
Yeah.
I definitely see that. But also, I don't know. Look at this one.
But also, look at this other creepy doll.
Wait, what the fucking crazy? Would you imagine? Oh my god! Look at the headgear. It's well crafted. I mean, he made all this stuff. So not only is he
like a wig.
No, it looks like a winter hat.
I mean, why would he make a winter hat? Obviously, he cares about these dolls.
Yeah.
I mean, because why would you even put a hat that not only you can't buy this shit? This isn't freaking Amazon over in Russia. You have to make this yourself. And, I don't know if
it's just
he could buy it, but obviously he made it all of himself.
Like, his intentions, his intentions do not match what everyone else sees it as. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have bad intentions with these dolls.
Now,
but that doesn't mean they were the right intentions. Either.
Right.
One thing that I wanted you guys to bring up is the fact that he only dug up females. Or girls. I shouldn't say female. Girls. Little girls. Why do you think that is?
I think I know that you said that he didn't sexually violate any of these dolls, but I think that there's some weird sexual thing there.
I mean, I would say that there is probably a more perception of innocence with young girls, even like young boys. I just feel like young girls are just like the epitome of innocence, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Anatoly, as you're about to see from his interview, he always wanted a daughter of his own, a family of his own. However, he's never found a love interest. He's still a virgin. He's always been. He's very eccentric, aloof, and he's never found that special someone, which there is a special someone out there for everyone if you watch The Notebook.
Yeah. A lid for every pot.
He actually cared a lot for these dolls. They were his children. So he'd be working on his computer, doing research, his next paper, whatever. He would talk to the dolls, the children, and usually when he's on his computer, he would put on cartoons. And cartoons would be running all day, which is why if you see the dolls, that is why their eyes are drilled out so they can actually see the cartoons, which is not crazy at all. The whole time I was reading this, I was like, yeah, I can see that. Shit. All the children, every one of them had birthdays they celebrated holidays, even though the children didn't have much of an appetite when it came to like Thanksgiving dinner.
God, stop.
Didn't celebrate Thanksgiving. They weren't in America.
Did they? Yeah, that's true. Did he lug all 29 of them out and put them at a table? What
Yeah,
I thought.
Yes, he did. However, if you read his interview, I don't know if we're going to put this in there. Some of the dolls didn't like him as much, and those dolls would end up in the garage.
So like time out for not liking him.
It's really hard to explain, obviously, this guy's motivations and what he was thinking. But to him, if you put yourself in his shoes, these are not dolls. They're real daughters. They are real live daughters. So they're talking to him, telling him that they don't like him. They're giving him sass, all this attitude. Does that make sense? I know it doesn't, but he puts them in the garage because they don't like him. That's his reasoning.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's a little bit more believable than like any of this story to me, because you have like these spirits, like their soul, they could probably be communicating with him from the other side. I know that sounds so garbage, but like these aren't just dolls. They're like human remains, and even though they're not alive, you know, you've heard of like people bringing messages from the other side. That's not totally unheard of.
Yeah, I know that's a really good point, and that's why I said that's all he does is every night visit cemeteries. He's very particular on how and who he exhumes, and there's a reason for each one he picks, which we're going to get into, and it does have to do with spirits. And
you know, honestly, it would kind of make sense that some of them don't like him, because like maybe those are the victims that didn't die of murder. Maybe they died of natural causes, even though they were young. Like, you know, they're resting, and it's like, why did you disturb me from resting?
Yeah, that's true. And in his mind, he was, I was bringing you out of the cold and the rain. You're sitting here in the rain. He was asked, quote, "Why did you do it? They say that you wanted to have a child," end quote. If you want to read his response.
Yes, I really wanted a child. Yes, I really wanted to have my own daughter to pass on to her all the knowledge that I have. I have a large library. I wanted to take the child from the orphanage, but the parents did not allow it. They thought I couldn't do it. Then, seeing how much I wanted it, my parents allowed me, but there were problems with the guardianship and the guardianship authorities because they said I had a small salary. But I never aspired for money. I always aspired to be useful and to be interesting.
That's interesting, because I was, before that, going to ask, like, okay, well, what about adoption? Like,
yeah, that's why he's been on the adoption list, but he doesn't make a lot of money he's got hundreds of books as an author, but I mean, who the fuck's buying books on histories of cemeteries? You know what I'm saying?
Other grave diggers?
No, he's not a bad looking guy in this picture, at least. Nice blue eyes, Jen. Oh man, I could see you with him.
Oh, thanks, John.
He's only like twice your age.
Casual.
He was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, which I think is an understatement to what they... I mean, yeah, probably, but I think he's got more than that. What the fuck? Since 2011, he has been in a psychiatry hospital since the arrest. He is still there today. In 2019 and 2020, doctors that were treating him wanted to release him. He's been medicated. He is on medication. He has improved. He is able to function in society. But, and this is from the Russian sources, they changed their mind. And that is the exact thing that the Russian sources said, which I interpret personally as the Russian government does not want this guy out. Does that make sense? But I don't know that for a fact. But all it says was the doctors, they applied to get him out, but then at the last minute, this happened twice, 2019 and 2020, they changed their minds all of a sudden. I believe there was something else involved, but they wanted to let him out, but he has not been out. He's still in the health facility from what I can see.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, there's no guarantee that he wouldn't do this again, even though it's like, okay, I won't do this again. It's like,
Will you, though?
yeah.
There's a quote from him. He says, quote, "I studied the theory, technology of mummification in all available books. I studied ancient Egyptian writing for this." I mean, this guy speaks fucking Egyptian just for this reason. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Kind of crazy.
"I went to Moscow, specially studied the whole matter. Then I traveled to different regions of Russia, respectively, studied the technique of mummification in different soils, then became so interested in this that I began to pay attention to outstanding people, and as a result, I became a necropolis." End quote. That's from his own words. It's not like he's just doing this to do this. And at first, they thought that he was doing this to desecrate Muslim graves, because that is a huge problem over there, apparently, from what I found out, in Russia. Like spray paint, all this stuff, like destroying the resting area, and they have their own cemeteries. One of the reasons he preferred Muslim burial sites is because they kept all the tools there at the facility. So shovels, axes, whatever, they're right there. And this is how he chose his victim. He would read the newspapers, and any little girl that has been involved in something like a car accident or a murder, who was taken and shouldn't have been taken, who died too young, he would adopt them, if you will, and try to give them a normal life. And that's what he was doing. It's fucking crazy. I'm sorry, but I know. It's crazy.
So he's still in jail. And
not jail. He is in a mental institution. And he will be there for a while. But this is 2011 when he was arrested. I don't think he's that crazy at all. I mean, he studied this stuff forever, man. Like, Egyptians do this shit. You don't see them crazy, do you?
No. Egyptians mummify. He is exhuming bodies. It's different.
All right. Anyway, he was asked, quote, "What about the souls of the dead children?" End quote. Now, this gets into his reasoning behind this.
About the souls of dead children, the fact is that I am an expert in Celtology, and while studying Celtic culture, I noticed that the Druids in this tradition communicated with the spirits of the dead through they came to the grave and slept on the grave. Then when I studied the culture of the peoples of Siberia, specifically the culture of the ancient Yakuts, there the same thing, I became interested. Further, to be honest, I had beloved children. I planned to leave my beloved children at home anyway. Those that I liked less, I planned to take them out to the garage so that they lived there. If any of the children completely disliked me, again I took the place from where I took them. Buried him in his own grave. I didn't break anything there. I didn't disfigure. I didn't dismember in any way. I treated them tenderly, affectionately, politely. I even tried not to swear in front of these children.
So when he goes to the grave site, and he'll walk around for years. This went on for 10 years, and he got 29 out. He would walk around, learn their stories. Then he would go, and at night when there's obviously no one at the graveyard, he would sleep right on top of the graves, and he would only exhume the bodies if the spirit came to him. So he's sleeping on the graves, which we should totally do, because that's not
absolutely not
crazy.
No, that's worse than glamping. I love me some glamping, and there's actually a movie that's coming out about
glamping.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
The name is like Joe and Amanda Go Glamping or something like that. It's on Hulu or something.
So he would sleep on the graves, on the dirt, and if the spirits came to him, basically asking him, pleading him to get them out of the cold, out of the rain, then he would make a plan to come back and exhume them. That is, and this is not what he's saying to get out of prison. Like, this is what he's living. So he's actually experiencing these spirits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, quote, "At home, I talked with them. We had a detachment. There was a leader. there was an anti-leader, respectively. We had a hierarchy, our own language. We had, accordingly, our songs. We had our own holidays. We had our own, as they would say, inner world, end quote. Kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not like a make you feel bad type of story. I don't think. This is another one. But these are real people. There's a real girl.
I know.
That's a real
That's
can't-
real
corpse right there.
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
As I said, he would drill out the eyes so they can watch cartoons every day. And let's go in real quick on how he did it. This is him at the graveyard. As I said, he was an expert and a writer in burials and cemeteries. So it's not weird that he is pictured here with a gravestone. But that's him right there doing what he loves, man. This is a quote from what he says.
I also began to sleep on the graves of the children I had liked. The spirits of dead children began to come to me. I have been doing this for a long time, about 20 years. I accordingly checked whether it is demons who come or spirits. Accordingly, he collected the information that he could. Then, if possible, I double-checked this information. I became convinced that the spirits of dead children really come to me.
Really quickly, how he would mummify them. Now, this is very rudimentary, but he would use a special composition of salt and soda. And he would actually...
Baking soda or soda?
It's just said, all I saw was soda, so I don't know. Maybe baking soda, I don't know. He would camp at cemeteries during the night. He actually would drink from puddles for water. He would spend the really cold nights in haystacks and abandoned farms. And once, he said even once, but I'm pretty sure it's like all the time, once he even slept in a coffin to keep warm.
You know how else you can keep warm?
That's fucking creepy, dude.
You know how else you could keep warm? By not fucking doing this.
Yeah, I was to say by staying in his own house.
But he's lonely. Here's another one. Oh my God, that's so creepy. Tell me, do you realize that you have committed a crime? That you are behind bars?
Yes, of course. I knew from the very beginning that I was committing a crime, but I felt very sorry for the children. Cloning is prohibited in our country. Sooner or later, it will be allowed anyway. I just wanted some material for future cloning. Accordingly, so that these children still live a second time. Yes, every time I dug something, I buried a grave behind me so that nothing could be seen. In addition, I communicated with the spirits of these children and received some information from them.
All right, wrapping this story up, he's obviously still in treatment center, but 2016, he's getting married.
Lord of Mummies.
So if you want to read this is from a Russian source. If you
His
can read
future wife is only 25 years old.
So
I was 25 in 2016.
I'm not sure that this photo is of his wife, but media sources kept noticing that one woman who was 25 kept appearing at all of his, I wouldn't say trials, but
Court
meetings,
hearings,
his court hearings, his mandatory showing up for the judges and stuff like that. She was always there. She announced to the media, and that's her in the background. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% positive, but I believe that is her. She announced to the media that she was his daughter. Although, what did I say earlier?
Daughter?
The guy's a virgin. He ain't got no daughter. She announced that first, but then the media was like, this dude does not have a daughter. Then she said, okay, I'm a graduate of the philological faculty, and I am in love with Anatoly, and we're going to get married. So
There's someone for everyone.
Live for every pot.
someone for everyone. And that's the last photo I got. Is just more of the doll here.
So what do we think about like his future? Is he going to be forever in a
No, I don't know, because I believe the sentiment I got, that's a really good question. The sentiment I got was that the Russian Federation is keeping him in there, at least until things die down a little bit. But
and then he can live happily ever after with his 25-year-old bride, who's now 31.
I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is this. Dee requested the story, and we're really grateful.
Yes.
There's so much homicide and murder, and I know we cover a lot of it. Since 2019, when the COVID outbreak started, the homicide rate has raised 30% in this nation. And there's a lot of crime. There's a lot of murders happening right now. As a true crime podcaster, I see all of it. And I follow all of it. And I wanted to do a story that, fuck this guy for digging up graves, but I was also about to do a mass shooting story. So, that happened here last year. It's good to do stories like this because, he's sick, but
I get that he wanted a child. I think he's not inflicting physical harm to a human person, which is great. But it's certainly disrespecting to the families of victims.
Well, he is not inflicting harm on a human person, but or a living human person.
Right.
But he is
disturbing the peace.
Yeah. No, I get that. And you guys really put that clear to me because, like the Ed Gein story I did, at the end of the day, I'm like, is this guy really so bad? Like, maybe he's just really misunderstood. And I don't know, maybe because I've seen so much death.
Yeah. In gravity, if we're really going to compare, sure, it's a totally different
crime.
In severity of it. Mm-hmm. But it's still
and I know
disrespectful to other humans.
Yeah, and I know I try to twist these into love stories. I'm not... I do that on purpose.
Yeah, I know you do.
But, that's the story. He's still in his confinement. I don't know when he'll get out. Hopefully that 25-year-old, it didn't seem like she wanted media attention. She refused all interviews. I don't even know if that's a real picture of her. And she is a graduate of philosophy or whatever it was. Maybe she just really, like Nicole said, there's someone for everyone. Maybe that's, maybe he'll realize what he did was weird and not right because it impacted other victims, and maybe things will turn out great. And the bodies obviously will be returned, and it'll all be good. It's not like anyone lost their lives,
They already did lose their lives.
Exactly. So
not because of him, though.
But that's the story on...
Thank
Anatoly,
you, Dee.
Very good story, Dee. Thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Go to talkmurder.com. Also, for you Supremos, if you want to support us, I keep forgetting to mention this, but our episodes are actually ad-free on Patreon. We post them before I post these episodes.
Early access. I make sure they're out before that the iTunes episodes get out, and they're completely ad-free. And for the ads now, we can't control the ads that are there. So it is a good, nice break for you Patreon members. So be sure to go to talkmurder.com/join and support us. And you can become a Talk Us Premium. You can request a shot for us. Anything you guys want. And that's all I got. So my name is John. Until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.